Here with Coach Cleo Hill Jr. is getting ready to start his third year at Winston-Salem State, and we're in the COVID era, I guess, is if you want to call it. But Cleo, we just talked a little bit earlier. Defending your title is obviously paramount, but it's different because we're in COVID-19. I mean, there's so many things that are in play right now.
Right. It's going to be a different title defense. No one has had a title defense quite like this. And as I was explaining earlier, the keys are going to be not only for Winston-Salem State to defend their CIAA championship, but all of the teams within the conference. How well you manage everything from a management standpoint with COVID, how you manage, your study hall, your team meetings, guys with different classes, and as well as people testing positive. That's something that we have to expect at some point. How well you manage that from a team standpoint, coaching staff, and even an athletic department.
And you guys are starting practice this week, and hopefully you want to have some non-conference games in November and December, and then conference play is supposed to start in January. Are the guys excited that you guys will get into full practice mode here this week?
Oh yeah, they're super excited because we've been shut down from everything, from team meetings, talking about basketball, to individual skill development, team conditioning. We've been shut down. We started individual skill development on, I think it was the September 28th or 29th. So they're itching to get out there on the court.
Because it's hard to build a team from Zoom, isn't it? Is it?
I mean, you try to be creative as much as you can, but it is a difficult task to build that kind of team chemistry and team bonding.
Well, I did a little research here, and you guys, let me get my stats. You guys hoisted up 1,567 shots last year, okay? And our guy, Rob Cologne, shot it 369 times. Took a lot of big shots, and I think the championship game, all those big shots went in. But, I mean, you guys, I think the big thing is you got to find other guys that is going to take that shot when it gets down to crunch time. Is that what you've kind of talked about with guys already?
Yeah, we've been doing some small talking after September 28th and 29th. But we have not gotten into roles yet.
Right.
Really, we're just ready to get the guys there and let them beat on each other a little bit and try to gain some team chemistry. But that will be a concern. Losing Robert, we lost a guy who's been in the league. I put a lot of onus on that, being in the conference for 4 years and knowing what it's like to go down in Virginia Union and going into Bray Boy, knowing those kind of things. So as well as Julius. Julius has been in the league for a little while, and as a backcourt, they had chemistry. And then adding in, even though Dante Caldwell was only here for 1 year, between the three of them, Julius, Dante, and Robert, those were our best perimeter shooters. And even Mason Harrell, who did a great job in 2 years, even though he got hurt the first year. Manning the post, blocking shots, rim running. Even though he didn't start, he was a huge piece of what we do. So those 4 guys, we'll have to make up for what they do, and it'll probably be my committee. I don't think you can go 1-for-1 with any one of those guys.
Well, and my stats also show that the next guy who had the most shots was Jalen Alston with 214. And there weren't a lot of outside shots because he knew how to get to the basket, because I think he shot like 65% or something. So that's a good sign, because I just think Jalen is going to even be maybe even better, than he was last year, just because he has more experience.
Right. We're expecting a bigger role from Jalen. And you're right. He was one of the main guys, along with Robert, driving to the basket, getting us in the bonus, getting other teams in foul trouble, shrinking their defense. But we'll expect a lot more from him this year. And like you said, being in the league at least for 1 year gives you a big advantage from 1 year to the next. And he's one guy that possibly will be a captain, but we'll be looking for him for a lot of leadership.
And Xavier Fennell, I know he had shoulder surgery, I think torn labrum. Is he recovering nicely, and is he going to be able to play or get back into practice, or will you hold him out a little bit longer?
We're looking for Xavier around late November, early December to start practicing. He's been religious on getting to his rehab, getting his therapy going. So we'll expect him at the very latest. He'll be ready by conference play in January.
Because you and I talked about this, that last shot from that kid at the championship game. I mean, X was right there on his defense, and he nudged that shot just a little bit, and that was enough because it was inches. And you and I have talked about what a great defensive player Xavier is, and the kind of play he made in that last shot of the season, really.
Yeah. Well, that last shot of the season, we wanted a little different defensive play on that. Uh, but I will say this: I thought during the year, and there may be missing one game, but definitely at Fayetteville, at Johnson, at Livingstone, uh, and maybe even Livingstone, the last game of the season. We talked to our guys about contesting on the last shot of the game. We thought that they were too aggressive on the contest, almost going for a block shot.
Yeah.
And I remember having a team meeting and a film session talking about really how to defend a last shot of the game. And it's almost, you go straight up and down, but we really don't want you to jump because a guy could lean in and the referee could have a different viewpoint of that play. And now you fouled on the last shot. So that was a lot of conversation. And I'm glad those conversations came up big in that championship game.
And I know too, a lot of the new guys are here. I think you've got 7 or 8 new guys. And mixing those guys together with the veterans, that's obviously going to be what you work on here early in practice. Talk about that dynamic, and you got a lot of good recruits that were highly recruited for and could have gone other places. How big is that going to be
Right.
here early on?
So it's going to be huge, and we'll look to our, even though we have only 2 seniors, and that will be Kit Carth and Cameron Campbell. And Kit Carth has only been here for 1 year, and even that year was spotty with some injuries.
Right.
We'll just look for that championship DNA, this the maturity you gain from finishing a season out strong and going into a tournament and coming out on a victory, hoisting that trophy. We'll look to them to kind of lead the way. We don't have that kind of senior leadership like a Cologne and Barnes, who's been in the league for 3 years. But we'll look to those guys that have been through the fire last year and kind of look to their leadership on meshing and bonding together with the new guys. It's about half and half. It's almost 7-7 or 8-7.
Yeah.
But we feel like we have a good core group from last year's team that won a championship, so we'll lean on them a lot to bring the new guys up to speed.
And throwing out all the COVID-19 stuff, what's going to be the hardest thing about defending a title? Is it you don't have that chip on your shoulder? Is it you worry about complacency a little bit, or what's the hardest thing you think?
I just spoke about guys who were in the fire with the championship, but even those guys haven't been here a long time.
Right.
So really, just getting the philosophy down, and we've done a decent job on changing the culture in 2 years. But again, it's only been 2 years, and the guys that have been here the longest are gone. So just continuing to build on what we did last year, just the culture and how we want to do things on and off the court. That'll be the biggest challenge.
And we don't know what it's going to look like when games are actually played. And you didn't really want to talk about the Gain Center being limited in capacity and all that. I mean, I don't want to even think about it, but that's just another really dynamic that you might have to prepare the teams for, that, that there may be 100 people at the game and that's it.
Yeah, I don't want to think about it much. I guess we got a sample of watching the NBA in the bubble and what it looks like with limited fans. They did a really good job. I don't know if we can simulate what they did with the atmosphere.
Right.
Our atmosphere the last 2 years has been amazing, and it's just to even think about uh, the lines to get in the gym. Won't be there, and we don't know how we'll do the band, how we'll do the cheerleaders, the DJ, the PA. We just don't know. There's still some things that are unknown, but that will be an entity that that's a big hole. We lost those four seniors, but if we lose the sixth man, that's almost equivalent, not necessarily the same, but it'd be a blow not to have that same atmosphere. Because our student body is intense in there.
Well, on the other side, you won't have to go into Brayboy or the box or all those with screaming fans. So I mean, I guess it's I guess double-edged sword almost.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, all those places have really solid atmosphere, but there's nothing like games.
Right.
There's just nothing like it. So everybody will have to adjust to some degree, and that's something we'll be talking to our guys about. Just the difference, and especially some of the new guys coming to Winston-Salem State because of the atmosphere,
right,
in the game center. So it'll be a conversation, and everybody will have to deal with it their own personal way.
And COVID-19 and the protocols and everything, I've been hearing Winston-Salem State's doing a really great job with that. I mean, the guys are staying safe. Have you talked to them? I guess you talk to them all the time about mask wearing and not being in big crowds. I mean, if they want to play, they're going to have to do all this stuff. Is that kind of what you tell them?
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, and it's not just myself and my coaching staff. Chancellor Robinson has done a great job leading the charge in safety and dealing with being safe, and he's been echoed by our athletic director, AD Thomas. So they've had meetings on top of my meetings. We've had athletic department meetings, and then we've had university-wide meetings, and just sharing with the student athletes and the regular student body what has to be done, in order for us to stay open and have classes. So I think we've done a great job at it.
And one more thing, I'll let you go, Cleo. What couple of guys are you think of the newcomers that are going to surprise some people? I know we talked when they were signed, but now you've seen them in the gym a little bit and seen them individually. I mean, you've got some freshmen guards that can really play. I mean, are you excited about what these guys can do for you?
Yeah, no, really, all of our freshmen, from Samaj Teal, Isaac Parsons. Both of those guys are used to playing in big atmospheres and playing against each other with high level competition. But then, our two out of state guys, Surreal Diop and Abner Muhammad. Surreal has played in some big atmospheres, and even Abner playing in the tough city of Chicago, and those leagues up there. Those will be four guys that will look to step in and have a limited time of getting used to playing in this league. And our transfers, Cameron Campbell's going to be a player. He's going to be somebody who we look to, whatever Robert Cologne did, we're going to look to him in that capacity, or even close to it. And then Rasheem Merlin, he's a big guy, and he's been out for 2 years, and he's hungry to get in there and show what he can do. So, we feel good about our new guys. Definitely feel good.
And I hear that Sterling, he's a legitimate 6'10". He's not a 6'10" guy on paper. He's legitimately that tall and can move a little bit. So that's going to be good in the CIAA when you have a post player like that can handle the ball.
Yeah, no, we talked about it a little bit in talking about losing Mason Harrell, who's the only post player that we did lose. Dante Caldwell didn't play inside that much, but we're thinking between those guys that they can give us a little bit of what we lost with Mason.
Well, Coach, I'll let you go. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you hopefully here in the next couple weeks, and we'll get a schedule, and we'll see where you guys go. But I know you're looking forward to defending that title. So good luck to you guys this season.
Thanks a lot, John. Always appreciate it.